wasn't
All right.
belligerent. He was just a matter of fact. And I think if we had more people speaking up and saying things the way he said it, I think we might would progress quite a bit more in politics.
Yeah, well, let's watch a little bit of video. I'm going to switch screens here. Let's see. And that's going to reveal our guests. I'm going to unmute them. So we'll just start talking as soon as this video's over. But here we go.
To your wants and needs.
If you did it along the lines of property standards, where junk is already defined and you can add whatever stringent you want to, and if the public thinks it's too stringent, then we'll fill this room up. And if you still pass it, we vote you out. I mean, it's democracy at its finest, in my opinion. But to say that we have to have an appointed board is incorrect. That's only if you do zoning. That's only if you do districts. That's not necessary in our case. And it's been successful all over the country.
Attorney Bernstein.
All right. So I'm going to pause it right there. Is that where you wanted to stop?
That is the play. So, Chris, that is you. What I got to tell you, I appreciate what you were saying there, and it was just a matter of fact. It was business. You weren't mean. You weren't ugly. You just basically said, look, here, this is the case. Do what you want to do, and if you choose to do this, we're going to beat you at the ballot box. It's that simple. I mean, that's what I took.
Well, with us at the Cattle Alliance for Freedom, at first we kind of whispered around in Government Plaza talking to our commissioners, and we come to find out that they put their pants on the same way we do. Matter of fact, they might put their pants on a little bit slower than we do, and we just talked to them just like we would talk to each other, and be to the point. As a matter of fact, if we don't like what they're doing, then we got to let them know, or they won't know the difference. Here, you'd have to go back. It was a Caddo Commission long range planning committee meeting, when he gave a presentation on how Bossier handles zoning and planning, because they didn't understand why Bossier doesn't have the same issues that Caddo Parish has. And the answer is Bossier has yet to enforce it. And when they do, it's going to come down like a ton of bricks, just like it did to us. And they're going to do the same thing Caddo Parish did. They're going to wait. They're going to sit on it and wait until it's been law for what they would call forever, and make you think you can't do anything about it. So I would keep my eyes peeled across the river.
Well, Chris, I got to say, I really appreciate you being on the show and giving us a great lesson. But darn it, you didn't have to remind them that the stuff's on the books. Thanks a lot, man.
Well, now you better believe they don't forget. They know they're sitting right on top of them. If they run short on something, they got those in their back pockets. The same thing Caddo Parish did, same thing Shreveport did. They say, you know what, we're in bad shape. Let's go hit these bumpkins. But I think the number one message that the Cattle Alliance for Freedom is trying to get out, and I see Jessica's kicking and screaming in the comments, the main thing that we try to get out is love on your neighbor. If somebody's grass is too tall, go knock on their door and see if they need help. Maybe they're having issues. I mean, 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what's going on. They need help. Maybe their lawnmower's broken and you can lend them yours. Maybe you can fix it for them. Because us country folks, that's what we do. We talk to our neighbors. We love on our neighbors. If they need the help, by God, we're going to help them. We're not going to call the property standards. We're not going to call the Metropolitan Planning Commission. We're not going to call our commissioner and say, my neighbor won't move that dead car. We want to ask our neighbor, what part does that dead car need? Because that's how we are. And if we're not like that, then we should put enough property in between us and our neighbor to not have to worry about them. But my God, the people inside of Shreveport and the people in the outlayers of Shreveport, they need to reach out to their neighbor and be neighborly. And I know social media has kind of ruined being a good neighbor a lot, because you don't have to talk to people, but it is still a thing. You can still shake a hand. You can still make eye contact. You can still talk to your neighbors just like they're your brother or your sister, because that is what the Bible says we should do. You should be neighborly. Love your freaking neighbor and quit calling the authorities on them, because once you do, they're going to make an ordinance that's going to overreach, and they're going to take what you have and what your neighbor has.
Preach it on.